If you had to live in the forest for an entire year, what would your home look like? Let's take a look at how this underground house was built. Before building anything, one thing must come first: water. Instead of searching for distant streams, he decides to collect water right here. A simple pit is dug by hand, using only basic tools. A plastic liner keeps rainwater from leaking away. A cover is placed on top to prevent dirt and debris from falling in. Nothing complicated, it just needs to work. When you are alone in the forest, safety is always the first priority. There are no tall structures, no exposed walls. Instead, he builds the house against the earth. He digs directly into the hillside, using the soil itself as protection. Progress slows down when rocks begin to appear. The work becomes harder, but the foundation becomes stronger. The first rain arrives sooner than expected. Deep in the forest, the weather rarely gives warnings. As night approaches, keeping a fire alive becomes almost as important as water. The fire doesn't need to be big, it only needs to stay dry. That means the firewood must be prepared in advance. As the rain grows heavier, the water pit finally begins to do its job. Rainwater flows directly into the reservoir. Slowly, it begins to fill. For now, water is no longer an immediate concern. Before night fully arrives, he builds a simple wooden bed, using rope, wood, and the last light of the day. The bed is raised above the ground, not for comfort, but for safety. In the forest, sleeping directly on the ground is rarely a good idea. After a single night in the forest, the limitations become clear. This shelter's enough to survive the first day. But to live here long-term, a real house is necessary. Before building anything permanent, he returns to the digging. This is the last time the earth itself will be reshaped. Once construction begins, changes will not come easily. Once the space feels right, a temporary frame is built. Small trees nearby are cut and used as support. Then he begins collecting stones, a material that has been used for generations. Stone walls slowly rise along the front of the shelter. Clay and water act as the natural binder. Once each layer is placed, fire is used to dry the structure. In this forest, rain is frequent and unpredictable. The roof must be sealed carefully and able to drain water properly. Support beams come first, creating a gentle slope. A plastic layer follows to block moisture. Soil fills the gaps. Then another beam layer locks everything into place. Finally, soil and living grass cover the top. Once the grass takes root, it becomes a natural protection for the roof. Next come the door frame, the window, and the stove. Inside, the living space slowly takes shape. A simple wooden bed comes first, raised from the ground to reduce moisture and keep the warmth inside. Young tree trunks line the walls. No decoration, no unnecessary details. Only what is needed for long-term survival. Moss fills the remaining gaps, blocking wind and adding insulation. The forest provides everything he needs. Once the interior is secure, a few simple pieces are added. A small table, a wooden chair. Everything is cut and assembled on site. No precise measurements, only what feels right. A place to sit, drink water, and rest. From this moment on, the house begins to find its rhythm. He lived in this house through the entire winter. The days grew colder, the nights grew quieter. The forest at night is quieter than most people imagine. A spoon, a small movement. Every sound carries not fear, just awareness. Not only staying here, but learning to feel the weather and the space around him.